We are at the port of Tarragona, Spain, and we are going to visit the full-size replica of a 15th century ship that played a very important role in the history of humanity. This Nao Trinidad is a prototype of these ships, which during the 15th and 16th centuries crossed the Atlantic and sailed along the American coasts on numerous expeditions. The Naos were ships of Spanish origin, whose design resulted from the evolution of Spanish shipbuilding to improve the performance of existing vessels, giving them greater capacity and a larger hold, necessary for adapting them to the growing maritime trade. They were round-shaped ships with high superstructures and wide hulls, with a capacity of around 80 to 150 tons, and are crewed by an average of 35 to 45 men. Welcome aboard the replica of the Nao Trinidad, the flagship of the Spanish expedition that between 1519 and 1522 successfully circumnavigated the globe for the first time in history. The greatest maritime adventure of all time. For the first time, the world was circumnavigated, confirming its true dimensions, crossing its vast oceans, and proving that the great continents are connected by them. A maritime feat that changed the course of history and initiated globalization. For the first time, mankind embraced and clothed the planet in which it lives. The Nao Trinidad was the flagship of the expedition of Ferdinand Magellan and Juan Sebastián Elcano, which between 1519 and 1522 completed the first round-the-world voyage. It departed from Seville, Spain, on August 10, 1519, at the head of a fleet of 5 ships that crossed the Atlantic, sailed through South America, discovered the Strait of Magellan and crossed the vast Pacific Ocean to reach the Mariana Islands, the Philippines, and the Moluccas in Indonesia, where its fate will change. A major hull damage prevented it from continuing its journey, and in December 1522 it was left stranded on the island of Tidor. From there, its companion, the Nao Victoria, began the journey back to Spain and arrived in Seville on September 8, 1522, completing the first circumnavigation of the globe. Meanwhile, the Trinidad endured the hardest part of the journey. After repairing its damage, it attempted to return to Spain, sailing east, with 54 men aboard, but strong headwinds, strong currents, and storms forced the ship to return to its starting point. After 6 months of suffering and battle in the sea, the Trinidad returned to the Moluccas with only 17 survivors. There, the Portuguese captured the crew and abandoned the battered ship in those waters, where exhausted and defeated, it met its end. This full-scale replica of the Nao Trinidad has been built by the Fundación Nao Victoria, a Spanish institution specializing in historic ships, in the seafaring town of Punta Umbría, Huelva, Spain. It took 14 months of work, starting in January 2017, following strict historical accuracy. The ship is a 5-deck vessel, built with a combination of Iroko wood, pine, and fiberglass, weighing 200 tons, measuring 28.30 meters in length, 7.96 meters in beam, with 4 iron masts and 250 square meters of sails. Main, topsail, foresail, mizzen, and spanker, with square sails except for the mizzen, which is lateen. Since its launch, the ship has toured various ports in Spain and Europe. In November 2018, it replicated Columbus' voyage by crossing the Atlantic under sail for 23 days, until it reached the Caribbean, beginning its tour of ports in America. Follow us on naotrinidad.org to find out which port you can visit the ship and discover all the secrets inside.